You were taught to be seen, to be heard, to take up space, and that is exactly why you are losing, because you have been conditioned to believe that presence means noise, that power requires performance, that to matter, you must always announce yourself. But let me tell you something brutal. The most dangerous people in any room are not the loudest. They are the ones you didn't even notice until it was too late. They are the invisible strategists, the silent architects, the ones who move without being seen, who influence without being heard, who control the entire game while everyone else is busy fighting for attention. And here is the twisted part. You have been programmed to fear invisibility, to equate it with weakness, with being forgotten, with not existing at all. So you perform, you over-explain, you justify, you seek validation. You broadcast your every move because deep down you are terrified that if you are not constantly visible, you will disappear. But what if I told you that your invisibility is not your weakness? What if I told you that it is your most lethal weapon? What if the moment you stop trying to be seen is the exact moment you become truly unforgettable? This is not about hiding. This is not about running away. This is about strategic withdrawal, about mastering the art of selective presence, about becoming so internally complete that you no longer need external recognition to feel real. This is about cold detachment. And once you understand it, once you internalize it, you will never play the game the same way again, because you will have crossed a line that most people never even see. You will have become invisible. And that, my friend, is when you become unstoppable. Most people live in constant fear of being ignored. They equate invisibility with irrelevance, with social death, with failure. So they do everything they can to be noticed. They post constantly, they overshare, they exaggerate their achievements. They perform emotions they do not even feel, all because they believe that if they are not seen, they do not matter. And this is where they lose. Because the moment you need to be seen, you have already given away your power. The moment you need validation, you have already admitted that someone else controls your self-worth. And in that admission, you become controllable, you become predictable, you become weak. Think about it. Every time you post something seeking approval, you are saying, "Please confirm that I exist." Every time you overshare to impress, you are saying, "I need you to see me as valuable." Every time you react to disrespect because you cannot stand being overlooked, you are saying, "My sense of self depends on your acknowledgement." And they see it, they feel it, and they use it because people do not respect desperation. They exploit it, they manipulate it, they feed off it. The person who needs attention is the easiest to control because all you have to do is withhold it and watch them crumble. But the person who does not need to be seen, the person who can disappear for months and come back unbothered, that person is terrifying. Because you cannot manipulate someone who does not need anything from you. You cannot control someone who is complete in their own silence. And that is the power of invisibility. Here is the part that will make you uncomfortable. You have been lied to. They told you that confidence means being loud, that power means being visible, that success means being celebrated. But real power is not loud. Real power is quiet. Real power does not announce itself because it does not need to. The truly powerful move in silence. They do not explain their decisions. They do not justify their actions. They do not seek permission. They simply do. And by the time others realize what happened, it is already done. This is the philosophy of cold detachment. It is not about being emotionless. It is about being selective with your emotional investment. It is about choosing when to engage and when to withdraw. It is about understanding that your presence is not a right, it is a privilege. And when people take it for granted, you remove it, not out of anger, not out of spite, but because you understand that attention is currency, and you do not give it away for free. Most people burn themselves out trying to maintain constant visibility. They are always on, always performing, always trying to stay relevant, and they wonder why they feel empty. It is because they built their identity on external validation. They need the likes, the comments, the recognition, the applause. Without it, they feel like they are fading. But you have learned something different. You have learned that the less you show, the more powerful you become. You have learned that mystery creates intrigue. You have learned that when you are not always available, people start to wonder. They start to ask questions. They start to respect your time, your energy, your presence. Because scarcity is value. And when you are everywhere, you are nowhere. When you are always available, you are never valued. So how do you become invisible without disappearing? How do you use cold detachment without becoming isolated? Here is the strategy. First, stop announcing your moves. Stop telling people what you are working on, what you are planning, what you are building. Because every time you announce, you invite judgment, doubt, sabotage. People will try to discourage you, not because they are evil, but because your ambition makes them uncomfortable. It reminds them of their own lack of action. So they will plant seeds of doubt. They will call you unrealistic. They will tell you to be more practical. And if you are not careful, you will start believing them. But when you move in silence, there is no noise, no opinions, no interference, just action. And when you finally reveal what you have built, there is nothing left to debate. It is already done. Second, become comfortable with disappearing. Not forever, just long enough for people to realize they took you for granted. Delete the app for a week. Stop responding immediately. Let conversations hang. Not because you are playing games, but because you are teaching people that your presence is not guaranteed. And when you return, watch how differently they treat you. Watch how much more they value your words. Watch how much more respect they show. Because absence sharpens appreciation. When you are always there, people get comfortable. When you disappear, they start to wonder if they lost you, and that uncertainty is where your leverage lives. Third, control your reactions. This is where most people fail. Someone disrespects you, and you immediately react. You defend, you argue, you try to prove them wrong, and in doing so, you show them that they got to you. You show them that they have power over you. But the one who masters cold detachment does not react. He observes, he processes, he waits. And if he responds at all, it is calculated, precise, and emotionally detached, because he understands that the person who reacts emotionally is always at a disadvantage. The person who stays calm controls the frame. And when you control the frame, you control the outcome. Think about the last time someone insulted you. What did you do? Did you defend yourself? Did you try to explain? Did you get angry? If you did, you lost, because you gave them exactly what they wanted, a reaction, proof that they could affect you. But what if instead you said nothing? What if you just looked at them, smiled slightly, and walked away? What do you think would happen? They would be the one left uncomfortable. They would be the one questioning themselves. They would be the one who looked weak, because silence in the face of provocation is the ultimate power move. It says, "You are not worth my energy." And that, more than any comeback, is what destroys people. Now let us go deeper. Let us talk about what cold detachment really means in relationships, in work, in life, because this is where it gets dangerous. Most people are terrified of being alone. They stay in toxic relationships because they would rather suffer with someone than be by themselves. They tolerate disrespect because they think it is better than being invisible. They overwork and burn out because they need to be seen as valuable. But the person who has mastered invisibility understands something fundamental. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. Being invisible is not the same as being forgotten. Being detached is not the same as being cold. It is about being so complete within yourself that you do not need anyone to validate your existence. It is about being so secure in your value that you do not need to broadcast it. It is about being so confident in your path that you do not need approval. And when you reach that point, everything changes. Because now, people do not come to you because you need them. They come because you do not. They are drawn to your self-sufficiency. They are intrigued by your indifference. They are captivated by your mystery. And that is when you realize the less you chase, the more you attract. The less you explain, the more they respect. The less you need, the more you gain. But here is the warning. This path is not easy. It is lonely. It is misunderstood. People will call you cold. They will say you changed. They will accuse you of not caring. And they will be partially right, because you have changed. You are no longer willing to give your energy to anyone who does not deserve it. You are no longer willing to perform for validation. You are no longer willing to be visible just to make others comfortable. And that makes people uneasy, because your detachment holds up a mirror. It shows them how desperate they are. It shows them how much they need external approval. It shows them how weak they have become. And instead of looking inward, they will attack you. They will try to make you feel guilty. They will try to pull you back, but you must resist, because the moment you go back, you lose everything you built. You go back to being controllable. You go back to being predictable. You go back to being weak. And you did not come this far to go back. So here is what you do. You embrace the invisibility. You stop seeking validation. You stop explaining yourself. You stop performing. You disappear into your work, into your growth, into your mission. And when you resurface, you do so on your own terms, not because you need to be seen, but because you chose to be. And that choice, that intentionality, that cold detachment, that is what makes you unforgettable. Because people do not remember the ones who were always there. They remember the ones who were rare. They remember the ones who did not need them. They remember the ones who walked away without looking back. And when you become that person, you do not just gain respect. You gain power. Real power. The kind that does not need to be announced. The kind that does not need to be defended. The kind that simply is. This is not about being invisible forever. This is about mastering the art of strategic presence. It is about knowing when to show up and when to disappear. It is about understanding that your time, your energy, your attention, these are your most valuable assets, and you do not waste them on people who do not value them. You do not give them away for free. You guard them, you protect them, you use them wisely, because once you understand that your presence is a gift, not a given, everything shifts. People start to treat you differently. They start to value your words. They start to respect your time. They start to crave your attention. And you remain detached, not because you do not care, but because you care about the right things, about your mission, about your growth, about your peace. And that is the final lesson. Cold detachment is not about shutting people out. It is about letting the right people in. It is about being so secure in yourself that you do not need everyone to like you. It is about being so focused on your path that distractions do not derail you. It is about being so invisible that when you do appear, it matters. And now, if you made it this far, I need you to understand something. This is not theory. This is not inspiration. This is a blueprint. A blueprint for how to reclaim your power in a world that wants you weak, distracted, and desperate for validation. But you are not like them. You are reading this because something inside you already knows. You are tired of performing. You are tired of seeking approval. You are tired of being controlled by the need to be seen. And you are ready to disappear, not because you are afraid, but because you are finally strong enough to do so. So here is your assignment. Go invisible. For 1 week, do not post, do not explain, do not seek attention, just work. Just build. Just exist. And when that week is over, come back and tell me what you noticed. Tell me how people reacted. Tell me how you felt, because I guarantee you something will shift. And that shift is the beginning of your transformation. Leave a comment with the phrase, "I am invisible, therefore I am unstoppable." Not for the algorithm, but as a declaration, a commitment to yourself that you will no longer beg to be seen, that you will no longer perform for validation, that from this moment forward, you move in silence, you build in the shadows, and you emerge only when you choose to. And when you do, the world will not be able to ignore you, because you will no longer be chasing visibility, you will be commanding it. Welcome to the other side. Welcome to cold detachment. Welcome to true power.